So, it looks like even the Denmark government knows smart men won't date women. This right here from my good friend. I know he's my friend because we're both men. Better Bachelor. It looks to be a MGTOW video. You know, guys think that women kind of suck and marriage bad and wife's a ball and chain, that kind of thing, you know, but taking up a couple thousand notches. Anyway, I just want to see how batshit this video gets. Give it to me. Oh, I can predict a couple of the narratives that are going to go on here, though, based, like, just on the title, because I haven't seen the video. This is probably going to be a video about how feminism has corrupted women, and men don't want to date women, and things have gotten so bad that now the government has to, like, pay men to fuck women or something like that. I'm guessing that it has something to do with feminism making women undesirable. So we'll see. Is going gay the answer? Going gay is always the answer. Let's go.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor.
Hey.
My name is Joker, and tonight we're going to be talking about the
Marriage is a little bit like gravity. All right.
Denmark government is begging men not just to please sleep with women. I have to be careful with my thumbnails because Big Mama YouTube is always keeping an eye out for naughty words that they don't like. It's actually begging men to please sleep and get pregnant. The feminists. Yes, they want the womenists, the girl power movement. They're having a hard time getting men up for the occasion.
Do we have a
to be with them? And we're going to talk about that just a little bit.
Look, the thing here, the fucking YouTube video description, what a fail. Guys, Denmark government committing an epic fail by subsidizing feminist degeneracy. What do we have here? Wait, I don't know if these links link to anything not safe for work, so I'm just going to look really quick. These are his sources, by the way. We have an article in The Guardian saying that human sperm count is falling. Okay. We have a video from 2014 said, "Do it for Denmark," which I'm guessing is some program to incentivize Danes to impregnate each other, I'm guessing. And then there's an archive link that doesn't seem to work, as far as I can tell. Okay, well, what is this "Do It for Denmark" video? Is it, I can watch it, right? I mean, it's on YouTube.
Kan sex redde Danmarks fremtid?
This is not English. This is not the language.
Danmark har et problem. Fødselsraten er den laveste i 27 år, og der fødes ikke nok børn til at forsørge den aldrende befolkning.
Not enough kids being born to support the elderly population. That's a problem we're having in America, too. I think we're having it in just about every developed country.
Skiftende regeringer har ikke kunne løse problemet,
Danish government
men
has
der
not found a
må
solution, but
være
there
en
has to be
løsning.
one.
Lorsque je t'ai vu pour la première fois.
Her er Emma. Hun er dansker, men selvom hun er født og opvokset i Danmark, er hun undfanget i Paris. Lige deroppe på det der hotelværelse. For 30 år siden tog Emmas forældre en lille sviptur. Hvis vægge kunne tale. Men det viser sig, at Emmas historie ikke er så enestående. 10%.
You had to watch this in school? Danish people watch this in school? God, you Europeans are weird. What the hell?
Af alle danske børn er undfanget på en ferie.
10% of all Danish children are conceived on holidays.
At rejse og få nye oplevelser, det påvirker parforhold, se og endorfiner i hjernen. Det får
Så 40% mere sex på ferier sammenlignet med hverdagen. Så for at hjælpe den faldende danske fødselsrate, vil Spis opfordre alle danskere til at tage...
So wait, this is an ad from a travel agency encouraging Danes to travel around the world so they can have romantic getaways and impregnate people during those romantic getaways. Is that what I'm getting from this? That's pretty much it? Okay. So this is not a government initiative. This is a Spies Reg, which I'm guessing is founder Simon Spies, founded in 1958. Can we get like a Wikipedia? This guy was a famous Danish tycoon, best known for founding the charter airline Spies Reger and its airway company Conair of Scandinavia. Yeah, okay, it's not even the government. This isn't even the Danish government that's being sourced here. This is... Maybe that's not what he's referring to when he's talking about the government, but what is he referring to then?
I got a couple of fails here first from the Daily Mail. Proof a father's love is blind. Georgina Lawton's parents were both white, yet her father never asked why the daughter was black. Only after his death did her mother confess she was the result of a one-night stand. Shocking. Who would have ever guessed? Writes Francis Hardy. So
this is the type of content that people like this consume, okay? You know how alt-writers need to be given 87 stories of, like, black people murdering white people every day, and they, like, save the videos and pictures on their phone, and they re-watch it and re-look at it to, like, fuel that hate? That's what these people do here, except their greatest fear is emasculation. Like, imagine, like, unironically, imagine having a YouTube channel, and you're like, time for our daily fail. Here's a guy who got cheated on. That's all from this daily fail. The insecurity is, like, insane. Now, look, if you get cheated on in a relationship, that fucking sucks. You can be as mad as fuck. You can be fucking mad about that if you want to. That's fine. But if you're, like, looking for stories of other people being cheated on to try to, like, get mad about it yourself, yeah, like, that's, whew. I mean, all right. Yeah, just digging up red pills, I guess.
I mean, look. Props that she was raised, props that the guy took care of the family. Like, I think that's cool. But might have been just as cool to maybe have a conversation with your wife and ask some hard-hitting questions and maybe leave her and be a distant dad to the daughter, or maybe get the real father involved. Maybe he'd like to know
hold on. Why would the real father get involved? Wait, what? You have a one-night stand with somebody else, but you... Wait, why would the other... Wait, what? So, to my mind, I mean, being cheated on really fucking sucks. And I think, even though this may be, like, kind of an intuitive position, I do think the idea of, like, a child not being yours genetically because you got cheated on, like, I can understand people being really fucking mad about that. The guy stuck it out and raised the kid, and, like, even this guy admits, like, that's a pretty honorable thing to do, which, you know, I think is respectable. I think that if anything else, the story here is, like, the love for the kid. That, at least to me, that's, like, the message that I'm getting from this, you know what I mean? But we don't know much else beyond that. I mean, we only know this from the daughter's perspective, right? We don't know how many arguments the father and mother had. I don't know, but I'm glad the kid got raised.
Has a daughter out there. What a hot mess. Hopefully she grew up healthy and normal, mentally sound. I don't know. That's just one of those where you're like, everybody's a loser in this case. I pulled this up on another video I did, but
wait, is this real? Are we actually just finding, like, random screenshots and tweets of, like, women cheating on men? Is that actually it? Dude, wait, hold on. How many of there are these? Listen up, my guy, okay? It is, you just talked about being normal and mentally well. There is nothing normal and mentally well about running a YouTube show where you find a collage of screenshots of women being duplicitous and like, comment on that.
I wanted to highlight it again. This woman posts, been dating this guy for 7 months, and today he asked me why I don't have a boyfriend. I've said it before, I'll say it again, secure the relationship.
Wait, what got cut out of this tweet? Something got erased from this tweet, didn't it? Why does it crop here, but it's just white below? You should see the likes, comments, and retweets right here on the line. Unless somebody just added a white, like, border below it. Like, I don't even know if this is a joke. We don't even have enough context to know if this is a joke.
Before you try to...
Look up her account, it's there. So this is the tweet, just added, like, a white border to the bottom. I don't know. This is so weird. Why are we? How long does this go on?
A young lady
Another
posts,
one?
Man, fallen asleep with his arms crossed over his chest, and she's reached over and is swiping very carefully on his watch to see if she can check out any messages.
This really is the equivalent of like alt-righters in the way they treat black people. You scour the internet for any instances of women being bad, and then you like show a slideshow of it to like try to convince your audience of burnt out single dads and 14-year-old boys who are worried about the size of their penis because they watch too much porn that women are terrible and they should actually get their life advice from this channel. I mean, if you look at the, here's the tweet. Oh, I actually think I remember seeing this when it went viral. Yeah. Why was there a white border below it? Okay, I don't doubt that the tweet existed. I was just wondering if anything was cropped out of it. Like, look at these responses. My last girlfriend had a memory so good she could remember things that never happened. Men did not fail Denmark. Denmark failed their men. Government, you've sentenced us to death. Men, then so be it. These people have like a fucking persecution complex the size of the moon. Like, seriously, like Atlas Shrugged type shit. My God. A country that hates its men is by nature suicidal. Please sleep with my girl power movement girls. My body, my choice. Is the implication here that the government is raping them by forcing them to sleep with feminists? Man, this shit brings about a very unhealthy narrative in the minds of the people who watch it. Can we get past the slideshow and get to the actual article here?
Came in. Dude, I'm telling you, man. All right, here's our main story. This is just from like a month and a half ago, and I snapped it off the archive today. Denmark begs men
what site is this?
To have bedroom relations with its girl power advocates. And for those of you watching, you can see that I have to change some of those words because Mama YouTube.
You can say feminist on YouTube.
This is from a blogger. He lives in Denmark, and he says, I love Denmark and the people of Denmark. Some of my fondest memories are of riding on horseback through Klampenborg Park and meeting men and women who were generally kind, thoughtful, helpful, and friendly people. Denmark, however, has fallen ill to a festering infection known as womanism.
It says feminism. I fucking knew it, dude. I knew that's what this was going to be about. I called it at the beginning, didn't I?
It's the same illness that has taken hold of the rest of Scandinavia, Western Europe, and the UK. Because of this gender infirmity, Denmark's birth rate and its population growth has been plummeting, as is true with most of Western Europe.
Wait, is there any evidence being provided that feminism is the reason why the birth rate is plummeting? Because there are reactionary developed countries where the birth rate is also decreasing significantly. Hey guys, what about Japan? Japan is not exactly spectacular when it comes to like feminism. Not at all. It's a fairly socially conservative country. South Korea too. And Iran? Yeah, Poland, Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Guys, the birth rate isn't plummeting because of feminism. It's not because men don't want to have sex with women. Trust me, that has not changed. The reason the birth rate is plummeting is because children are expensive and everybody works 25 hours a day to try to make it in the rat race. Developed countries have lower birth rates because the economy is structured in a way that demands way more time of their people. Bosch source? Source on what? Japan's birth rate? Japan birth rate chart. Let me get that? Japan's birth rates they're not looking good. They're actually considered a national crisis. Yeah, here we go. It's like, this is pretty bad. And by the way, Japan also has its own weird measures to encourage fertility. But look at this. Blue is birth, red is deaths. Right now, and starting as of around 2006, deaths surpass births in Japan. The population is not just stagnating, it's actually declining. And since then, the pattern's only gotten worse. This chart cuts off 13 years ago now, actually. We can see here another chart that's also comically small. The pattern that you'll notice with the way these dips take place is that they correspond to industrialization. If we go take a look at Iran, also guys, your personal opinion, yes or no, hit me with it, okay? is Iran a champion like state of women's rights? You know what I mean? Iran, like, what do you think when you think Iran? Do you think feminist utopia? Well, hey, wow, it's that exact same pattern you see in every other developed country right around the time, and Iran developed later than Japan did for fairly obvious reasons. But yeah, the birth rate just plummeted. Look at that. Birth rate crude per 1,000 people. It has less, it's more than halved since 1980. Like, it got cut in more than half. It's down to like 2/5 of what it was 40 years ago. Extraordinary, right? We'll do a couple more here. Saudi Arabia. Oh my God. I didn't realize that Saudi Arabia was such a, this chart, I don't know why this chart is this resolution, but I didn't realize that Saudi Arabia was such a robust haven for feminist ideology. That's crazy. I thought that it was a repressive, tyrannical monarchy that was one of the most aggressively anti-women's rights country on earth. But, you know, I mean, what are you gonna do? And then, you know what? I'll cap it off since I feel like I've more than I've made my point. I'll take a look at America. Let's take a look at the American crude birth rate. Now, what you'll notice in America is that the crude birth rate corresponds directly to industrialization. The birth rate was at its highest right around 1930, but then, as America industrialized, the birth rate plummeted. The only bounce we had in the birth rate in America was right after World War II, the baby boom, where all of our soldiers, our GIs, came back home. Oh, 1830, my bad, not 1920. When all of the GIs came home and just absolutely fucking raw dogged their sweethearts right out of high school, you know? And then we had the baby boom, and since then, our birth rate has continued to go down. I mean, you can see behind my webcam here. Still going down. So given the fact that countries which are industrializing, feminist or not feminist, have lowered birth rates, I think I can safely conclude that feminism has literally nothing to do with the lowered birth rate. That's the reason why I hate channels like this, and I hate people like this. Now, I'm not accusing the Joker of lying, nor the person who wrote this blog post. I just think that they're kind of crybabies a little bit, who see a problem in society, which is the lowered birth rate, and then they transplant it onto their personal victimization complex. They sort of impose it upon that. They see it and they think, the birth rate's down. That must be caused by the same reason why women don't like my pickup lines anymore. You know? It's very pathetic to me. I mean, God. Victimization complex, you know? Mind you, by the way, there's nothing inherently wrong with birth rates going down. We probably shouldn't be having every family having 8 children again. I don't know if the Earth can take that for very long. But yeah, but there are healthier and worse ways to deal with it. One of the other ways you can deal with low birth rates is to subsidize your country's population through immigration. But ethno-nationalists, I'm guessing that Joker over here isn't the most progressive guy when it comes to immigration policy, tend not to like that solution. So
I think I have a story here. Let me look in my bookmarks, my wild world of bookmarks. And
DuckDuckGo.
There's another story here where they've got falling baby juice, falling sperm counts threaten human survival. Expert worms epidemiologist Shanna Swan says low counts and changes to development could endanger the human species. And basically what she's talking about...
Please source check this. I don't need to, because I already know the answer. There are 3 main factors that are contributing to this, okay? Now, guys like the Joker over here are going to say it's because of feminism and cuckoldry and soy or whatever. Something like that. But I actually know why this is a problem. There are 3 reasons, okay? First of all, people are fatter than they used to be. The reason we are, by the way, is in large part because food industries have gotten incredibly good at making extremely addictive, cheap, and unhealthy food that we consume at increasingly high rates because we don't often have the same time and access to natural and healthy foods that we used to. Though that varies. very, very complicated subject, but that is a big component of it. Additionally, stress. Stress is a huge factor. Stress affects your body negatively in almost every imaginable way. People are getting more stressed. A lot of this has to do with capitalism, for reasons that I imagine most of you can intuit. And third of all, it has to do with healthy infrastructure. That is to say, encouraging exercise. Nowadays, people drive everywhere, but with walkable cities, people have more of an incentive to go around, to pick up groceries while walking, carry them in their big, strong arms 10 minutes on the way home, bicycles, that kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure research has been done that sperm counts are actually higher on average in more walkable urban communities than they are in less walkable suburban and rural communities, which means that ironically, left-leaning people, because left-leaning people are more likely to live in those high-density urban areas, may actually have an average sperm count than conservative people who are more likely to live in rural and suburban communities. Can we get the data on that? I'd love to look at it more in the future. I'm remembering this right now from what I've seen in the past. But yes, exercise, diet, and stress are the three big ones, the three really, really big ones right there. And all of those factors correspond easiest, I mean, most heavily to capitalism. Those are the big ones, you know, right there. Don't forget pollution. Oh, pollution's also a big one. Yeah, pollutants in the air, the water and the soil can also have a very negative effect on you know. Vosh, how do you have a good diet that's easy and simple to maintain? It's another segment, but it's not really that hard. If you actually learn, the big problem that people have with cooking, and I'm not one to talk, by the way, I don't eat healthy, but I do know how to eat healthy, and it's not that expensive if you know what you're doing. Really, you just need to learn some basic combo meals, how to meal prep, that is to say, to prepare meals for future consumption, and you also need to have the right spices. If you invest in some good spices, you can make basically anything taste good. Beans, you know, rice, pasta. You can make, I think Latin food tends to be really, really easy to make and really tasty too. I mean, I'm talking like tacos, burritos, quesadillas, stuff like that's really easy to lay out. You got your potato meals. I'll put it this way, guys. It's really important to invest in seasoning, all right? If you're getting like those little boxes of pre-ground pepper, you don't want that, all right? Ditch the fucking iodine table salt, okay? Get some proper flake salt. Get a proper salt grinder. I know that it's a little more expensive, but you only have to do it like once. It'll last you so long, okay? Buy garlic, cloves, and onions from time to time to season stuff. Or if you don't want to do that, then at least make sure you have some of the dried stuff in your pantry. And hey, I'll give you an example here, okay? What is it called? Truffle salt. Truffle salt is really, really good. It's a little bit expensive. It's fairly expensive, actually. I got like a tin about yay big for about $30 a while ago. I'm about 1/10 of the way through that tin, like 5 months later. It was the best decision I have ever made with seasoning. My God, I would have done, if I had known how good it was, how well it went with like everything that I ate, I would have bought that shit back when I was in college, like portioning out meals like $40 a week on grocery spending. I would have made room for it because that's just like, man, it just makes things pop. Truffle salt. I don't know how available that is in some areas. I don't even know if you can get it in grocery stores. I think it's usually specialty markets, but I could be wrong on that. Maybe I just haven't looked enough for it. What about MSG? I don't use MSG to my knowledge. But anyway, just invest in some good seasoning and experiment with base foods like rice and beans and that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's good for you. Oh, and vegetables and blah blah blah. All right, but we are not a diet stream, and I am not in a position to be giving dietary advice because I bought a disgusting Easter Reese's peanut butter cup bunny that weighed 1 pound the other day, and I ate its head last night, and it was not good, and I kept eating. So I'm really just not in any position to truly levy. You took like 5 bites of them out. Well, I had to eat it with a fucking fork because the chocolate was too thick to reliably chew through, but yeah. All right. Tell them about the mayo brownie. I am not going to tell them about the mayo brownie. All right, let's focus on this video.
Is basically through the chemicals in the water between...
I just want to hear him say that feminism is what's killing sperm count.
The way that men are kind of being... more feminine, turning more
If you can make it through the segment with me, I'll tell you about the mayo brownie.
feminine. The counts in the West, as far as sperm counts, have plummeted by 59% between 1973 and 2011, making headlines globally. She says, following current projections, the counts are set to reach 0 in 2045.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Does sperm count work that way? Just because it decreases by a certain amount over time, I don't think that means that if you continue along that trend, it'll continue linearly. I'm pretty sure there'd be a logarithmic curve where the closer you get to a 0 sperm count, the less it decreases proportionally. I'm really sorry, guys. I mean, I've taken stats classes. I would be astonished if that's actually how sperm count responded to environmental stimuli, okay?
That is 25 years away. I hope I'll still be alive. I'll be well past age of having kids. I'm already past that anyway since I got the snip. But that means most of you, even you gents older than me, will be around when this happens. You might be in your 80s, but...
Okay, so we're just getting some stats misunderstanding. Is he going to blame feminism for this?
Too far into it. I just thought, hey, you know what? I'll bookmark this for a later video, but since it's kind of related...
Okay, he's not blaming feminism. Okay.
And so, anyway, back on to our modern, or our current our current article.
What snip? He cut off his entire penis and balls.
They say the girl power advocates have given women in Denmark an immunity from civility and license to openly hate and ridicule men. We know this to be true. All you have to do is look at most commercials, most articles written in newspapers.
We know this to be true. While reading a blog post, as we know, everybody hates and ridicules men. Pause. Yeah, we all know this to be true. Didn't you see the slideshow of women being mean at the beginning of this video? I just don't get where the insecurity comes from, frankly. Look, I'll say this. If you hate women, just live your life, okay? But you obsess over it. This is the thing that I don't get about these MGTOW types. They're supposed to be removing themselves from women, but all they do is obsess over women. That's all they do. They're supposed to be these, like, autonomous, like, libertarian independent types who are, like, living free and proud on their own. They're supposed to be going their own way, but all they do, all their media, is about bitching about women and bitching about society. That's all they do. Incels in denial. Maybe, yeah, at least for some of them. There's nothing wrong about the way this guy in the top left looks. I mean, there's probably something wrong with his personality, but looks-wise, if he wanted to, I think that he could be perfectly successful in the dating marketplace. I just don't get it. I mean, Christ, why not go your own way? Why aren't MGTOW forums full of, like, shaving advice? And, like, meal prep and fashion advice and business stuff. Like, why aren't MGTOW forums full of advice from men for men on how to live, like, a happy and autonomous life? They aren't. They don't do that. They're not uplifting. It's about festering in negativity. It's about whining constantly about the things you're supposed to be divorcing yourself from. Yeah, a guide on cutting off your entire penis and balls. Yeah, I want to see that guide. Yeah. They don't encourage happy or healthy habits with men. So this can't really be called like a men's organization, like a pro-men organization.
And even the laws, look at the laws, and there are women that are being released for crimes that are worse than what men are oftentimes being imprisoned for.
That is true. There is a severe bias against men in the criminal justice system. Actually, the bias against men in the criminal justice system is significantly greater than the bias against black people. That's actually true, like, mathematically. It's really, really unfortunate. Something should be done about it. And people tend not to talk about it because men get a lot of other benefits and black people tend not to socially. But it is worth talking about, you know? So black men get mega fucked. But I just mean, like, if you're just accounting, like, what effect blackness has versus what effect being men has. Yeah. I mean, it is largely black men who get fucked over by the criminal justice system. Black women, I think, get treated better than white men do, proportionally. Don't quote me, I could be wrong, but I think the benefits of being a woman in terms of treatment by the criminal justice system outweigh the detriment to being black with regards to treatment from the criminal justice system. I think you're wrong. I would need to look into it again, but I remember looking at that and thinking it was interesting. Of course, it's not an oppression Olympics game. The only point that I'm making is that men actually do experience a pretty severe disadvantage here. Would that be the same for trans women? Okay, that's a whole other topic.
He says, for example, it's not uncommon for girls to be sitting on a bus in a group and have them openly point to a man and discuss how unattractive he is.
Is that a
The
thing
Danish legal system is set up so that once a woman has...
Is that a thing that happens? I have never had that happen to me or seen that happen to me. No, I'd be willing to bet this is a thing this guy put in his blog post because he heard of another guy saying that it happened to him in Reddit. You know what I mean? That's a thing that happens all the time. People will be like, yeah, there's this epidemic of women pointing at men and laughing at their appearance. And then the only reason they got that is because they read on Reddit, like, this happened to me. Like, they read a 4chan green post or something like that.
Has been, quote, impregnated by...
If you're in high school, maybe? Oh, sure, maybe in high school. But people are horrible in high school. I thought this meant like, yeah, like on a bus. I thought we meant like adults here. Yeah, no, in high school, people are super fucking mean.
The man is completely disposable in divorce, and the man's role as the donor is further degraded by requiring him to pay for the child for the rest of his life so that the woman may enjoy her fulfillment as a modern womanist.
What the fuck does that mean? The man's role as a sperm donor is further degraded by requiring him to pay for the child for the rest of his life. What? Why is been impregnated in quotes? It says the Danish legal system is set up so once a woman has been impregnated. Why is it in quotes? Wait, are they impregnated or not? Why is it in quotes? Are you using it for emphasis? Can't you italicize? What? The man is completely disposable in divorce. That's not true, by the way. Modern, at least in America, now I can't speak to Denmark, but in America, in modern day America, the family courts don't actually seem to be that biased anymore with regards to whether custody is given to the mother or the father or split evenly between. Family courts have adjusted massively in the past 30 years. To ameliorate that disadvantage, which is good, you know? There are some lingering negative trends statistically from it, but a lot of that has to do with decisions that were made decades ago. The man's role as a sperm donor is further degraded by requiring him to pay for the child for the rest of his life. I don't think that he's talking about if you get cucked. If you can prove that a child isn't yours, I think the courts don't require you to pay child support, do they? I don't even know. This is so ambiguous. I only know about American law in this respect, and even that it's really, really ambiguous. The only thing that I know for sure is that this weird and confusing paragraph ends with, you pay child support so the woman may enjoy her fulfillment as a modern feminist. That is not what child support is for. Child support is so the child can be raised. Children are expensive. Food, school, tutoring, babysitters, and child support is supposed to pay a half of that. That is how that works. In California, you have to actively be with the child's life for a certain time of development with the child's life be yours and thus be liable for child support. Yeah, that makes sense. It varies country to country, state by state. It is complicated, no denying that. But anyway, yeah, the idea that that child support exists so that women can live their lives as a modern feminist is really dumb. Interestingly, apparently, of developed countries, Denmark is actually considered the least feminist, at least in this respect. Only 1 in 6 Danes consider themselves a feminist. So actually, in Denmark, you'll actually see a disproportionately low number of people who self-identify as a feminist. This might actually be the worst country to play this line in. Isn't that weird? It's funny how all of this falls apart if you think about it for like 3 seconds. Vosh, please fact check it. Well, that's only based on self-identification, not on actual gender equality. Denmark is a pretty gender equal country, to my knowledge. Anyway, let's actually catch up on this a bit.
We know this is kind of similar here in the United States. 85% of women are given custody of, or the majority of custody of the kids.
The reason for that is because women are far more likely to seek custody. Nowadays, there really doesn't seem to be a bias in these courts. This is like flat misinfo. The main reason why there's a difference here is because men are more likely to dip out and not want custody of the kids, which is actually an indictment of men and their responsibility, more so than it is an indictment of the family courts and their bias.
And in that case, men are required to write a check for at least the next 18 years. And even in some cases, men have been found out to not be the biological father of the child, but because the test wasn't administered in the first year of life, that man is held responsible as the father figure and has to write a check for a kid that isn't even his, that his wife cheated on and got pregnant by somebody else.
So, again, we're projecting a lot of insecurity here because his only interest in this subject, this very complicated subject, seems to be to what extent are men getting cucked. But I will say this much. The goal of the state's responsibility, is to ensure the healthy upbringing of children. This guy is super fucking ass bad, which is why he's only talking about child support payments and not talking about the, the mom having to pay for the child that she's keeping. You know, the other half of that equation. The state's goal, first and foremost, is to make sure that children are taken care of in this respect. So even if it ends up being a little bit unfair, as long as that kid is getting the money necessary to survive, that is what matters most. That is what is considered the absolute priority. This guy's priority is the ability for men to dip out on children and relationships with no obligation, commitments, or priorities whatsoever. Now, are there criticisms that can be made of the way we currently treat child support, child rearing, family status, that kind of stuff? Yeah, there is. But this guy is not the one to levy that nuance at all. This guy's coming at it with a very, very, very biased mindset.
Welcome to the 2020s. Welcome to modern era. So
also, all of the laws he's complaining about were set in place in America long before modern feminism. I don't know why he's attributing family courts and child payments to feminism. Like that, like they were like, oh yes, those activist feminist legislators 100 years ago cucking men. Jesus. No. And not to mention, since the courts have gotten more feminist, they have actually gotten less biased. One of the reasons why the courts used to be biased is because they believed the patriarchal notion that women should get custody because they're natural child rearers. Feminist theory refutes that, suggesting that men are just as capable of being parents, and it's through that lens of analysis that those courts have become less biased.
So United States is like that. UK is like that. I know Denmark is like that. I think more Norwegian countries or Scandinavian countries are going that way. I think Australia is starting to pull this way.
They've been this way for a century.
At what point is there a win for men? And I mean this legitimately. Like, yes, you get to sleep with a woman. Congratulations. That may legitimately cost you the next 18 years, or I don't know the way they sound. It sounds like the rest of the...
When will there be a win for men? Dog, feminists fought for your win. The family courts were more biased than they are now. Feminists dragged them back towards equality. You're welcome. What do you want? They're out there winning, taking W's for you, while you're over here complaining about how hard life is for men.
Father's life. That may cost you and keep costing you. I'm telling you, fellas, you got to be careful. The best investment I think I've ever made. The scissors to the huevos. They continue on. Denmark still imposes all the obligations of men that have survived.
Do you think he knows that child support can go from the woman to the man? Do you think he knows that? Like, if I asked him, do you think he would know that that's a thing? That if the man assumes custody, that the woman pays child support? He probably doesn't know that, does he? No, probably not.
Medieval chivalry, yet virtually sees men as nothing but completely disposable donors who are occasionally allowed to work in the Danish socialist job market.
Socialist job market. It all comes together, doesn't it? Of course, this would be mixed in with those damn socialist feminists.
Being a little sarcastic there, obviously, because men are working. But it is true that they are now looking for job positions specifically to fill quotas for women in many different places. So, it's, okay. I mean, it is here. And we can only you can try to vote. You can try to get in people that are not centered around this. But when you're literally, again, it seems like you're literally fighting against all women, plus a lot of guys that go along with this crap, thinking that somehow this will garner them the attention of these women, and it never does. They continue on.
What? Oh, the projection again. The only reason you would support affirmative action and liberal political positions is because you're trying to get the attention of women. Dog, MGTOWs and like red-pilled men's rights types talk about nothing but how to attract the attention of women. That's all they do. The pickup artistry is like center to their worldview. That's the only thing they talk and think about. I'm pretty sure that the imposition of affirmative action was not a decision made so some legislator somewhere could get pussy, okay? Also, affirmative action has been around since, what, the 70s in America? I imagine it's something comparable in Denmark. I sincerely doubt that it's some modern 2020 thing. In Denmark, I mean. I know it's not here in America.
Result is that only about 20% of Danish men are actively in the dating pool. Thank you. The 80-20 rule. We talk about it. I just talked about it in the video I did last night. The top 20% of the men are doing all the dating. Now, again, in this case, 80% doesn't mean it's the worst 80%. It also might mean the smartest 80%. And
this guy actually doesn't even understand his own red pill theory. Wait, hold on. I'm about to out MGTOW this MGTOW. He doesn't even understand his own theory. That's incredible. So the 80-20 rule is the idea that 20% of men, the Chads, are having like 80% of the sex, that they're absorbing all of the sex with their sex sponge dicks, okay? And, well, I mean, there are people who have sex more than other people. That's true. But their essential argument is that all of the sex is getting vacuumed up by the Chads and all the non-Chads are like left waiting for bits. That 80% of the guys are fighting over the remaining 20% of available sex or sexual partners. What this is saying right here is that only about 20% of Danish men are actively in the dating pool. Now, first of all, citation needed. Don't exactly trust this blog post. Second of all, actively in the dating pool, what does that mean? Couldn't that mean that a large portion of the Danish men who aren't are married or already have a girlfriend? Dating pool means that they're in the market for dating. If you're already in a relationship, you're not in the dating pool. Or you could be too young to date. This statistic has nothing to do with the 80-20 rule, which is bullshit in and of itself, but like he doesn't even know it well enough to know that. This doesn't account for people who are married, people who are in committed long-term non-married relationships. This doesn't account for people who are too young to date. This doesn't account for asexual people or people who are legitimately just not interested in dating at the moment, or they could be busy with their career or like their education or a million other things. 20% of Danish men are actively in the dating pool? That sounds about right to me, accounting for every other possible demographic in society. This stat legit has nothing to do with the 80-20 rule that he's referring to there. But he saw 20% and his brain is like, the connection, the neurons fired and the connections were made. And he had to bring it up.
A lot of men are not participating. But it does mean that men are being able to be choosy. And who are they going to choose? They're going to choose the feminine, attractive, soft-spoken, sweet woman versus the angry, loud, women are strong, yay, men suck. They're not going to be with those type of women.
That's interesting considering the fact that I'm pretty sure it's been proven that people who identify as feminists are more likely to have good sex and be in fulfilling relationships. Not exactly surprising, given what feminism teaches. I'm almost positive I've seen research to that effect. But look at the conjecture that he just added. Yeah, his logic is like a child. He sees a stat, 20% of Danish men are actively in the dating pool, and he adds like this complete arbitrary, this completely just out of nowhere level of conjecture on top of it. Like, yeah, well, the reason why it's like that is because they're fighting over all the pretty trad wives and not all the ugly, hairy feminists. Like, where are you, dude? Aren't men supposed to be logical? Aren't you supposed to be a rational male? You're engaging in the same kind of conjecture that I would expect from a child, or like whatever you imagine a hysterical woman acts like, you know? Having a fetish for soft-spoken sounds like an abuser red flag. He runs a MGTOW channel. There's no larger red flag.
They say Danish women are constantly complaining about not having enough men to satisfy their desires for bedroom fun and social intercourse, yet Danish women will viciously guard their girl power advocacy, hatred of men, life plans to treat men as disposable, and the concept that men are irrelevant except to give the woman a donation and the child some semblance of legitimacy.
How do you think it feels to go through life feeling like this much of a victim? This actually outpaces any of the shit you see on the Daily Wire, like Steven Crowder or some shit like that. Look at this, like, yeah, only some men... You have to imagine this is being typed through tears. Yeah, only some men are dating because there are only so many good women left. Good women. An oxymoron if there ever was one. Even the good ones, they'll still... they still hate men. They treat us as nothing. Like, I can only imagine this being choked through sobs. He literally has the personality of a micro penis. No. I resent that, okay? I'm sure there are very confident and cool dudes with micro penises. This guy is the personality of a person who has a normal-sized penis and thinks it's a micro penis because he's never had sex and watches 8 hours of porn a day and has built his entire identity around his perceived lack of masculinity. You know? That's the real personality that we got going on here. My dude, you've got my Joker, you've got a solid 6-incher. Come on, man. You got something to be proud of. You don't need to get down like this. How much porn is the right amount? You know, that's between you and Jesus Christ, okay?
One with intellect, sensitivity, education instead of the indoctrination that the womanism requires, and human dignity might think that the solution to this problem would be to encourage women to learn something about human compassion, respect, human value beyond the bedroom, and the beauty of binding interpersonal relationships.
Human value beyond sex. Is that something that women need to learn? Wait, is that how the dynamic works? That women are the ones who have trouble respecting human value beyond sex? Is that how... Sorry, wait, I record scratch. Is that like how that plays out? Okay. It's funny, by the way, that this video says, looks like even the Denmark government knows smart men won't date women. So far, we haven't talked even remotely about any government involvement in anything. We're not talking about anything related to the title, but he's reading a blog post advocating for teaching women to be more amicable to dating men. So it's just funny that the title is about how, Denmark knows that men won't fuck feminists because they're gross. But the content of the video is, we need to teach women to be nicer to us so we can have sex with them. It's actually the opposite. They're the ones pleading, you know? They're the ones asking for a change from women, not the government asking for a change from men.
The Danish government doesn't have any of those problems. Here's the Danish government's solution. This is just one advertisement of an intense propaganda campaign Danish feminist institutions undertook to try to...
Why did they censor institutions? Can you see that? There's an asterisk in the TIT for tit. Is this irony posting?
To beg men to inseminate Danish women for mom and for the state. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied there tonight. And yes, occasionally I can say like a naughty word every once. It's not really naughty, but according to YouTube, they don't like the womanist, you know, the femme word. If you say that too many times, it flags the video. So I get away with it every once in a while. If you're wondering why sometimes I slip it in. Anyway, yeah.
I don't... Okay.
Yes, it's the same thing that's going on here. Men are saying, look, ladies, you need to be realistic here. You need to stop, and you need to stop complaining about men and saying that we're awful.
Do you think there might be a little bit of irony to him saying that women complain about men and women say that men are awful when he is right now on this channel talking about how women need to learn human compassion, respect, human value beyond sex, and the value of binding interpersonal. This whole channel is committed to bitching about women. On what platform? Are you, by what right are you complaining about women?
And saying that we're worthless and saying that you're awesome, because eventually men are just going to say, you know something, I don't like being treated like this, and having a little bit of bedroom fun with a woman, especially one that is of this mindset, is just not worth it. Like, it's just not participating. They will go out.
I want to be clear, by the way, like, he's like invented the biggest windmill to tilt at. There's this thing doesn't happen. If you go out and live your life as a man, you are not going to find these cackling crowds of like mannish feminist women who hate you and will degrade you in the bedroom. Or this does not happen. It just doesn't. People aren't feminists because they hate men. Victim complex Andy over here, like, this guy is fucking shadowboxing against ghosts. This just doesn't happen. He's asking for a change from a standard quo that doesn't exist. Oh, now if you're looking for women who you want to treat you in a mean and degrading way, just make sure to communicate with them, okay? You'll be able to find some, but they are also looking for that communication.
They'll get a little, I don't have anything around me here. They'll go out and get a little pump bottle of lotion, and they will get their favorite website or magazine, and they'll take care of business themselves. It's called post-nut clarity. I know many of you gentlemen are very familiar with the term and the practice, but it takes away that intense urge to want to date, want to sleep with a woman, want to take her out to dinner.
Stuff like this makes me think this guy knows that his channel is meant for children. So, first of all, I'll just go jerk off then, is not a society-changing threat. And second of all, the only people who would find this funny or informational or useful in any way are like 12-year-olds. That makes this all feel really weird. If this was directed exclusively at bitter men in their 30s, then, you know, okay, but this pretty deliberately feels like an attempt at getting children over on this idea.
Clear your mind and you're like, I guess I'm just going to watch a movie. Like, it takes that crazy drive right out of your head, and I'm a full advocate for men doing that so they don't keep having these problems of going out and getting themselves in trouble with women. So here's the thing. The Danish government solution wasn't, and same thing in every other place this happens, it's not talking to the women and saying, hey, you know, these are people too. They're humans. You need to treat them with dignity and respect if you'd like.
That's his solution. He wants the government to talk to women and say, hey, men are people too. What an unbelievable crybaby, dude. This guy is more of a triggered snowflake than literally any SJW I have ever met in my entire life. Can you imagine? I want you to imagine this, okay? If a SJW lefty type said, yeah, racism is a big problem. I want the government to put out an ad campaign telling white people that black people are humans too. And they made a giant YouTube video about it, and they were being literal. They literally want an ad campaign by the government saying, hey, black people are human beings, and everything that implies, okay? Now, that is actually less stupid than what this guy is advocating for right here, because at least society does hate black people. He's a man. Unbelievable. I clipped and shipped. Yeah, get me. Unbelievable. I just can't imagine having this kind of persecution complex. It's unfathomable to me.
Like them to date you. Nope, they don't care. They're just going to keep pushing ahead, but they're hoping.
All right, wait. This guy's just going to keep complaining. So wait, hold on. Is he going to show the ad?
Testosterone and their drive to was promoting, hey, if you go on vacation, when you when you take your wife or your woman on vacation, you actually are 50% more likely to have bedroom fun. Now, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of your relationships out there, you guys have complained you're getting 0. 50.
Well, I guess this describes the kind of clientele that he's getting, huh? Hey, let's compare audiences. Hey, to the people in chat and relationships, are you having any problems getting any? Well, there we go, I guess.
50% more of zero is still zero. So I don't know how good that's actually gonna do for you. But this commercial was saying, look, if you travel, like with our travel agency, Spies Regier, or Regier, is the leading Danish travel agency. Their advertisement was travel, you'll get more fun, and if you conceive while you're on vacation, you could be entered to win a prize of like a baby carriage or crib and
okay.
baby food.
All right, sure. All right. That's pretty silly, but you know. Wait, was this ad for this travel company, was it sponsored by the government? Because it says right here, this is the leading Danish travel agency. And it says, right here, it says the Danish government. Is there any government involvement in this at all? Hold on. Danish government travel ad. Travel ad, what? Pregnancy? What do we... Spice Regier, a Danish travel company, is apparently on a mission to get people pregnant. There is nothing here at all that involves government intervention. There's nothing. No sponsorship, nothing. Nothing about this has anything to do with the Danish government. The title is just a flat-out lie. How do people trust sources like this? Like, you can see the blog post right here on the right-hand side say the Danish government and then show an article from a travel agency. You can see that right there. It's right there.
Food and baby diapers, like they're literally giving away gifts for getting a woman in the motherly way while on vacation. If that's not like trying to talk guys into it, I don't know what is.
Wait, it's trying to wait. It's trying to talk them both into it. What? How is it? What? Look up the Do It for Denmark campaign. Yeah, that's the. From the travel agency. Media and advertising campaign launched by the travel agency. Yeah, I don't see anything about the government here. And you know what? Even if the government was involved, what's wrong with this? I don't know, it's dumb, but okay.
I'll pull up the video while we're paused here.
All right, we saw the video earlier.
Oh, she wants him so much that she's going to shove him to the ground. But again, this is a little fun role reversal. Switch it. What if the guy grabbed the woman and threw her on the ground? Oh, that's a no-no. We can't be...
How lost is this man? He's seeing a video and a woman in lingerie like pushes her husband onto a bed. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's hot, sure. But what if the man punched her in the face? Huh? Then we live in a society where that's not okay. Like,
having it. Anyway, if you look...
Are we good? We have to be good now. Come on.
Here, she grabs him by the shirt and whoop, and like does a ninja flip and toss. Decoration over... That may be... It's cute. Pros, can eat...
And the video ends with more screenshots and shit of women being duplicitous. He sandwiches it in between.
40 CV. Remember, this is not a woman posting her loss. Ever learn to be the person that you're... Soon, I've pretty much given up on a girl, and you decide to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to ask her out. Maybe she'd like to go out and get a bite to eat. This may be the person that you're meeting and talking to, except she's just not putting it out and wearing it up front so you can see it.
Don't trust any women. Hate all women. Watch my channel. Jerk off. Don't talk to women. Get your fucking nuts and cock cut off like I did. Misinterpret really obvious. I would love to talk to this guy. Can we put out a sirens call? I would love to talk to this guy. What's this guy's name? It's Better Bachelor. Better Bachelor. Can I talk to this guy? Do you think we can? Where's their Twitter? They have to have a Twitter, don't they? I'll find their Twitter later. I want to talk to this guy, okay? I want to talk to this guy. Oh, I want to talk to this guy. His videos have been doing pretty well lately, too. It looks like that he's really got his finger on the pulse of the modern, incredibly whiny male discourse, you know? That's actually his most popular video that he's released in the past while, and the title is a complete lie. Looks like even the Denmark government knows smart men won't date women, and what he's referring to is, hey, couples who go on vacation are more likely to get pregnant, so maybe go on vacation sometime and get pregnant, huh? Literally has nothing to do with the title, but yeah.